Welcome to episode 10 of the Cholent. I'm going to run out of fingers after this one. Digital Dove, Shirley Cooks, and Doug OP standing for what, Doug?
Original Popper.
Original Popper. Douglas Soclof, the man, the legend, Douglas Soclof Experience, and of course, the Doug of Dougies. Douglas, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Now, Doug has been in the food and entertainment and hospitality industry for how many years now, Doug?
Long time.
Long time. A couple of years.
But wait a second. Is this, what's the name of this show again?
The Cholent.
So what about someone who's like vegan or vegetarian? Could they listen?
Actually, that was a whole episode about Parav Cholent, which is a whole other thing. Do you know at Leil Shishi, the mecca of Cholent, they actually sell a Parav Cholent. I got more hate for my ordering Parav Cholent at Leil Shishi than I think anything else we've talked about on this show. But Doug, who has been involved in every aspect of the food and hospitality industry, tell us something that people don't know about the hospitality industry. Everyone thinks it's so easy. Open a restaurant, it's going to be great. What do people not know about the behind the scenes as someone who's literally done it all?
So I think one thing that people don't understand is hospitality today. When you used to say to somebody 15 years ago, you're in the hospitality, they're like, what hospital are you talking about? And today hospitality is so much more than what the average person thinks it is. We think it's just like walking into a restaurant or, walking in here, getting that. But the way we look at hospitality is infusing it into whether you're a restaurant, you're a caterer, you're a service provider, you're an accountant, you have a law firm, you're a business owner. It's about the level of service and treating people, communication, human touch, technology, incorporating every single thing and so much more into whatever that definition of hospitality is. We happen to do it on multiple levels, some that are more public than others. A lot that we do, down there, Mr. Shirley, he's a big part of the Doug Soclof Experience and the social media, the marketing, the graphics, and all that kind of stuff. We happen to have our punchline that privacy is the highest form of luxury.
Ooh.
So and he and I and others talk about this all the time, that if I would show the eye candy, let's just call it eye candy, of what I do for clients, it would definitely even expose my business, show my business, and probably be, at least from a social media perspective, because that's what the people love of social media, right? They love the eye candy. They love the bling. They love the wow factor. They love to see what other people are doing. And one of my strictest rules of what I do is that privacy is the highest form of luxury. And we never show anything from client gatherings, client getaways, client events, that we do ever. So I think...
What's a place that gets it right? What's something that some place gets right in the Jewish hospitality industry, from a food perspective, like a restaurant?
Right. So again, I think many people who are going out, if you're going out higher end, I think a lot of people really care about service, atmosphere, then food. I believe that if the service is good, the food's along for the ride. Okay.
That's a very good point.
How many times will you go somewhere where you're paying $150, $200 a person, where something silly had happened right from the beginning? They either don't have your reservation, okay? You show up, place is crowded, they don't know, they don't know what's going on. I have two huge pet peeves when I go out to eat. One is if we're a group of 6 people and 3 entrees show up and the other 3 show up a half hour later, and they're like, oh, sorry, it's busy. I'm like, that's what you strive for, right? To be busy. And that just gets me really, really going. And then the second thing that I really can't stand is with these mobile handheld order takers that the servers, have. So the group, unfortunately, and I think this is a big problem in many restaurants because of technology. And this is one thing I said to you guys in the beginning, the human touch and technology is the success to great hospitality. So many places mess that up. A server comes to your table, they take your order. You don't see them again until you're trying to track them down to give you the check, the bill.
Right.
And then
Those
what do
people take the order, don't actually bring you the food.
Right. And they don't even check it. They don't even check in on you. They don't even like to go out there. Hi, how is everything? And we have an internal joke with my family. Whenever a waiter starts off great, hi, good evening. My name is Doug. I'm going to be your server tonight. This is going to be the best evening you've ever had. I'm like, that's it. You're in for failure because you're never seeing that person again. So you finally wave down you wave down the server to come, and what do? They come with their little handheld, and there's already an 18 or 20% gratuity, included in the bill, and they're like, yeah, this extra gratuity goes into my pocket, not part of the pool. I'm like, yeah, therefore what? And I think so many places make a mistake of, again, it's probably a whole other conversation. Go get a cup of coffee today. They ask you if you want to leave a gratuity. Go to 7-Eleven. They ask if you want to leave a gratuity. You go everywhere. I mean, it's almost to the point where it's gotten to be insulting that you can no longer just walk into a quick service place and without being bombarded with asking about gratuity. Now I see a new thing is asking for, do you want to give a donation? Do you want to leave a donation? And I don't even mean, I'm not even talking kosher now. I'm talking about even in a lot of mainstream companies, clothing stores, so on and so forth you go to. You used to see it like holiday time. Now you're seeing it all the time.
Right.
So that thing. And then I think one of the largest issues facing, or I'll say top 3 issues facing kosher restaurants today is they're not doing a good job at all balancing third-party delivery apps with prioritizing the guest that's in the restaurant.
That is 100%
So many
true.
times you see like you're just standing there waiting, and they're saying, "Oh, I have to prepare. We have these 5 Uber
I mean that
orders."
right. So to me,
So I'll just go home and order on the app.
Well, no. I
Or
mean,
not.
To me, and I've done this for a long time. Okay, and way back when, way before there were third-party apps and before there was Instagram and Facebook, we used to have delivery guys and we used to do a lot of delivery. Okay, and it's how you prioritize things. Somebody who's coming into it, a guest that's coming into the restaurant takes priority over any type of delivery or takeout order. And why do I say that? Because on the delivery and the takeout and the third-party apps, you can control the timing of that. Dove and Truly come in to eat at my restaurant, right? I know I have X amount of time to serve you guys properly, get you in and out. On a delivery app, I could control if the restaurant's busy. All someone needs to do is flick the little switch and say, okay, instead of it being 30 minutes for your food, it's going to be an hour for your food, an hour and 15 minutes, hour 20. Then it's up to the consumer to say, wow, if they're telling me it's an hour, it probably means it's an hour and a half. Maybe I should order from someplace else.
By the way, time out. We actually have our first sponsor, Shirley. I didn't even tell you about this. Mrs. H, who shall remain nameless, from Israel, who's one of our biggest fans, knows that I am a huge fan of the spices from the Shuk in Israel. You know the spice store in the Shuk in Israel? She sent me the most awesome package of spices. We got the onion soup mix, which is like nothing you ever had, and the chicken soup beef flavor. Thank you, Mrs. H, our first sponsor of the Cholent. But yes,
that's
Doug,
a big bag.
I got 2 of them. Don't even ask. It's like the best stuff. I got to tell you. So the other day I was doing
with my luck, if I was bringing that through the airport, I would get
the dog. How many Jews are coming back with the bag full of spices from?
I was also nervous about that. I brought back a huge amount.
And you also have the gummy worms and the chocolate-covered candies from the candy store, and you're worried that the little doggy is going to come get you. I was in Deal the other day for a game show at somebody's house. First of all, wow, that place is unbelievable. Deal really exploding. But right by that new pizza store, there's this Chinese place. I believe it's called Fortune Cookies. Placed an order. The Chinese store is called Fortune Cookie.
That's a great name.
Placed an order on the phone. Guy took the order. We said, how long will it be? He goes, give me 7 minutes. Walked in 5 minutes later. He looks at me, says, what's your name? He says, Katz. He looked at the thing, says, your order's coming up. It was the cleanest store I have ever been in. The guy starts talking to me. I'm interacting with a person. I didn't have to. The food was delicious. But for me, it was the experience. It wasn't even about like how clean the place was. It was just about the experience. The guy schmoozing with me. The guy took care of my order. Boom, like that, as opposed to doing it online.
Right. I feel.
No, I think
Sorry,
they bounce
it is
off
your
each
show.
other.
It is your show. You know, it's like,
Well, I
yeah,
was going to say that it's like what you were saying before. I think that that's really, it's almost like if the service is good, then you could trust that the owners have their priorities in order. So then, of course, the food's also going to be good. I mean, how it's very, very rare that you go to a place where the service is amazing and the ambiance is amazing, but the food is just like inedible. It doesn't really carry over. You
Right,
could
correct.
tell.
I think what
So I'm going to add. I want to add a couple things. Dov, going to your story. So if you followed me on Instagram, you would know I am a huge advocate for Long Branch and Deal, and I cover it
I do follow you on Instagram.
extensively all the time. And it's just an amazing place to go, where you don't have to worry about anything. You kind of just like show up, and demographically, it's also located great between Baltimore, Virginia, Philadelphia, New Jersey.
Awesome.
It really Philadelphia. It covers so many different great places. But I think what Dove, like what you were saying, is again something that so many places get wrong. And I'm going to give you a quick story. And I feel like I'm giving out so much free advice today, like, to all your thousands of listeners. You know, it's like when I get in a fight with a company, and I'm like, I'm going to go on my Twitter or X account. I have 17 followers. They really get scared, but it's all good. But what you're saying reminds me of a story that I read about 3 months ago. This lady was in downtown Brooklyn, and she was looking for like a kosher place. And she said she found one that had like 600 Google reviews, all 5-star reviews. And she's like, I got to go check out this place. The pictures made it look like a tiny little hole in the wall, whatever. She calls, she places an order. Nicest guy answers the phone, whatever. You know, she places her sandwich, salad, whatever. She goes and picks it up. He goes, hi, whatever. Hi, Miriam. Here's your order, waiting for you. On the way out, she's ready to go. He's like, Miriam, I want to give you a can of soda. And if I give you a can of soda, do you mind giving me a Google review? And that's how he has 600 Google reviews.
Brilliant.
So again, you're talking about something, again, just like you said, that little bit of human touch made you feel really, really good.
That's right.
In this scenario, the 30, 40, 50, 60 cents of the gift that he gave her to make her feel really, really good has been a return on his investment. So let's say 600 cans of soda at $1 of a place cost him $600 to get 600 5-star Google reviews. That, to me, is absolutely priceless, and it shows you the people that are winning in this business today. Look, I have a lot of good friends in the restaurant business. Okay, the ones that have multiple things going on, the ones that are answering their phones. Okay, the ones that are speaking to people. No, I have a crazy situation that's going on with the place. They told me, oh, you need to speak to our WhatsApp, and then it's being responded. It's crazy. It literally, my daughter looks at me and she says to me, it was easier for me to get Target to return the laundry detergent than I'm fighting on 2 missed items on a $300. Not fighting, that I've called back 4 times to try to get my $30 back for the missing 2 items. Okay. So a lot of places are just not finding that right balance of human touch and technology.
That's
and
right.
I think in our very quick conversation, and this is a conversation that could go on long, and I'll just give you another little tidbit of let's call it the Doug Soclof negative restaurant things. Okay. I typically, if I go out to eat, I will never call a place and complain. Okay. That's just who I am. A lot of people know me. I never, but if you're sending me a survey that says, hi, we want to let you know how your evening, how your dinner was, or how your lunch was, and I take the 10 minutes to fill out their questionnaire and write a note that, oh, just letting you know, half of people didn't get the food, letting you know the drinks were wrong, let you know somebody with an allergy ended up getting mango, blah, blah, blah. And I take that, and then you don't respond to me. That's 2 X's, 2 strikes.
2 strikes. So now let's talk about, from the other end, a restaurant that uses technology but gets it 100% right. So I always talk about Mike's Chicken. So Mike's Chicken, you're placing your order online. It is ready in seconds. You get text messages where you're ready, and then you go to the sauce refrigerator. You take whatever you want. It is an incredible experience, and it's a complete opposite. Very little human interaction.
What do you, when someone wins the answer or wins the competition at your game show, what do you ring? What's the noise?
What ding, 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 ding.
You are 1,000%
Not
right.
only that,
I use Mike's.
talk about ding, ding, ding. I've asked this question at over 10,000 camp kids over the last 2 months. I asked a chicken finger question and I said, where's the only place to get chicken fingers? Every single camp, every single kid says Mike's.
Wow.
Every single one.
Okay, so let's just jump onto that because I could not agree with you more. I tell people who are struggling in the restaurant business, go sit at Mike's, go watch what goes on there, watch how they
Amazing.
operate it. There is never, you talk about a place, I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't know about Mike's, which just shows you the volume of this place, okay? During their peak business hours, which let's just call it Wednesday evening, Thursday, Sunday all day. I don't know if that's it. I'll just use this as an example. He actually has a outside, what do they call it? Phone
Call center. A call center.
call center answering and taking orders. Okay.
Wow.
And if you want to speak, let's say, oh, I have a question for the mashgiach. Or can I speak to the manager? No question about it. They patch you right into the store. Everything they do is absolutely correct. I think and again, you're talking about a place which, if I had a guess, is probably volume wise. And again, I'm not affiliated with them, just as an outsider who orders from them a lot. I mean, I don't know if you've ever ordered, they on Thursday and Friday, they deliver to Teaneck, Englewood,
They deliver
Riverdale,
everywhere now. It's crazy.
Westchester, Philadelphia. I mean, there's
All
never enough
over.
that they could do. If I tell you they are probably amongst the top 5 highest volume restaurants in the country.
They
And
probably
I
are.
mean up
And
there
they got one spot.
with Wall Street Grill, Reserve Cut, Cafe Noir in little Tel Aviv in Hollywood, Jay-Z, okay, Asiatico, okay. You're talking about the volume that this quick service restaurant is doing, and they do it exactly right.
I actually asked that question at a game show that Mike's daughter was at.
Oh,
She was
wow.
like,
Oh, really?
that's my dad's restaurant. It's really amazing because it's the perfect mix of excellent technology, excellent service, excellent food, great customer experience like that.
Can I add one other thing about
Sure.
Mike's? Because I think it's also fascinating, but it's also, as we all know, Lakewood is its own
That's a
world.
whole other
Okay.
show.
So, but what I'm going to say is Mike's has always built upon, he runs, what's the best way to call it? It's kind of a ghost kitchen, but it's kind of not a ghost kitchen. For all the businesses out there, okay, he runs a daily, delivery service for companies. So let's say you have a company with 20, 30 people and everybody wants to order lunch, right? He has affiliates of Milchik restaurants. And then I think he handles all the fleischiks from his kitchen. I don't know. They all get delivered to one local spot. And then he has all these little guys delivering all over Lakewood to offices. Okay.
It's unbelievable.
This past week, if you can't think that, I was just in Israel a couple of weeks ago and I'm walking to Big Apple Pizza because I love Big Apple Pizza. And Marzipan opened a satellite store right next to Big Apple Pizza. And I said to my wife, I'm like, is someone joking? Like, that's just a bad joke having Marzipan and Big Apple Pizza right next door to each other. Jumping over back to Mike. So I'm putting my Friday order in and on Thursday for Friday. And it's like, do you want to add anything from the cookie corner? You know the cookie corner in Lakewood?
Oh, boy.
Smart.
Exactly. So not only was I able to order Mike's chicken, he now has an affiliate with Cookie Corner. And I'm like, I definitely need to stay away from all this because it's just too good.
It's almost like
And
he's not in the food space, he's in the delivery space.
now listen, the truth is I will because Shirley is in, out of the
I'm getting
Florida
major
out of the Florida
FOMO right now.
part of the world.
Like,
There are a couple of really great restaurants that really, really get it right on all levels from a quick service perspective in Florida, and the higher end restaurants do a great job. Some of them do a really, really great job. My favorite top 4 in the country, Asiatico,
yeah.
amazing. I also love Cafe Noir, which is amazing. If you've never been there, it's like nothing else. And then you have Jay-Z. There's no
Jay-Z
shortage.
is my
Harbor
favorite.
Grill down in Bay Harbor. I mean, there's no shortage. And actually, I'm going to go a step further because I find the technology of the kosher restaurants in Florida to be way better than most of the technology of the restaurants here, especially for order taking or processing orders online. The restaurants, for the most part, in um, Florida take it very seriously. They invest in it, and I think I think at the right time, it pays off for them also.
Well, here
Um,
the delivery is very important because unlike New York area type places, you can't just like walk down Central and go place to place. Like here, everything is delivery unless you're specifically going to the restaurant. So the delivery is very important here.
So here's a question for you both. Okay. So restaurant experience versus restaurant food. So recently I went to the Tables at Fireside, which is that new like Korean barbecue kind of place. Now, the actual restaurant itself, it's not about the restaurant. It's about the experience. It's this 4-course meal where you're actually cooking. Two of the courses, you're literally cooking yourself, both your hot pot course and the meat course. And it's a fun social experience. Forget the food's great, but it's not about the food. It's about the
right.
experience. What
So,
are your thoughts about a
I'm
place
going to tell
that's
you.
like the
So,
experience?
I'm a huge fan of. All of a sudden, I can't remember the Pitmaster.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Exactly.
was just gonna
Now,
Exactly.
say
now,
we're
now,
both gonna get that.
I happen to think, unfortunately, they're going to come out as a grand slam, right? Because just like you said, the fireside experience, and I heard it's amazing and it's great and it's all that kind of stuff. And he's a very talented chef.
Uri's awesome. Yeah.
President, yeah,
Uri Elba.
Uri Album, excellent, talented, great guy. But you're not going to go there 4 times a year to go do that. You'll go do that once. Maybe if you have an out of town family member or someone that you need to entertain, you'll go there. Same thing like Pitmaster. It's a very like chavaya type of thing, that you're going like once, twice, something out of town.
I see that a lot with the
Part,
hibachi places because
how
it's
about,
like,
look,
oh, you have to go because it's so cool. But how many times do you need to have fish thrown in your mouth? It's like a once a year
I'm also going to say
experience.
this. I'm also going to say this that just jumping back to Fireside, kudos to them because it is a place that I know very, very well. They're always trying to change and change things up and keep getting you to come back. But
Correct.
it does show you in today's environment, especially in the kosher food world, kosher hospitality world. I don't care whether you're a caterer, whether you're a game show host, whether you're a band leader, whether you're this, whether you're that. You need to have multiple sources of things going on under one roof. The Jewish calendar, unfortunately or fortunately, dictates all our businesses. Okay.
That is
So
right.
for example, and a lot of people don't understand this, you could talk to some of the smartest business people in the world. Show them the Jewish calendar. They'll never understand our business, whether it's catering, food, hospitality, gatherings, hotel, concierge, band, music, DJ, because it's this horrible. I'm going like this, like this. There's
That's
never,
right.
it's never what a very good friend of mine calls it Swanee, right? Where everything just stays like this for 11 months. We're always up and down, and the craziness hits. Every single person is crazy. It gets look. I tell everybody, thank God we operate 12 months a year all the time. Why is Pesach so hard and so difficult? It's because every single person who's dealing with Pesach, every single vendor, every single operator is just too busy,
Overwhelmed.
is overwhelmed because you have this short amount of time. The manufacturers, the delivery guys did this. They're not even dealing with it until, sometimes I say the smart people are the ones who don't even start advertising until the 2 weeks before Pesach because they make it quick and painless, not painless, but like a quick injection, that numbs you for 2 weeks. You just get through it. But people have to understand, and also without getting into it, with the cost of goods going up so much, and
Oh boy.
the meat
Do,
versus the
do you
non-meat.
feel do you feel we're going to get creamed on the meat end based on some of the recent developments, etc.? Does anybody know this?
I mean, creamed. I think prices are already crazy. You go look at a raw steak today, right? The price is crazy. So again, everything is how we started this conversation. It's either expensive or more expensive. You know, there's there's
That's
there's
it.
there's no such thing as something cheap. I always tell people like, what do people used to love about kosher back in the day, about kosher delight, right? So used to even in then everyone thought
Two
it was cheap
ninety
because
eight burger.
right, but you went up there, you ordered their little whatever it was called, the burger and a drink and French fries. It was like $7. But
Right.
then you were
Wow.
still hungry, so you went up and you got a hot dog and a kiddush. Now you're at $12, right? So the average person went up and ordered 3 times a kosher delight, but they only thought they spent 7. They really spent 20. Back then, to spend 20, back in the day, it was like spending $100 a person today on something.
That's right.
So I think it's very interesting at times. It's like everything else. I think it's very important that anybody in the hospitality, entertainment business, you always need to be reinventing yourself, adding Mike's Chicken, call it, right? They're just not sitting there relying on Lakewood. They are all over the place, right?
That's right.
If you're going to sit back and relax and just try to, like a surfer says, be toes to nose and cruise, you're not going to make it happen. Look, in the business that I'm in, I mean, Baruch Hashem, I'm so thankful for the repeat clients that we have, and they refer new clients to us. But I always tell my team, I always tell my staff, I always tell everybody who I'm working with, we always need to elevate it. We always need to change it up. I can't always deliver the same thing. Not one family is the same. People call me and say, oh, what do you do? I'm like, I don't have a cookie cutter program that I do. Everything is specific for each family, whether it's a Shabbos, whether it's a Yontif, whether it's a reunion, and it's done exactly for you and your family to whatever your budget is. You want to keep it simple, basic, middle of the road, high end. We'll come up with a combination of something that works for you and your family. And I think that's a very important piece of knowledge to everybody who's in this business. You got to constantly be reinventing. You got to constantly be changing. And you got to constantly be hustling.
I mean, just think about it on this screen right now. We got a band leader, a guy from the old music business, and a restaurateur who are now completely reinventing themselves completely differently. You're doing the luxury Douglas Soclof experience. Digital Dove game show, still doing the music thing, but I do game shows for all sorts of kind of events. And Srilly is on the Food Network. Go figure. I mean, look at this.
You're right. You're right.
And I
think invent it.
And I think also there's just so many opportunities that are out there, but so many people want to look for excuses not to do the opportunities. Especially today with AI. Okay, if you use AI to your benefit, to your ability to if you're not a creative person, AI should be your best friend, right?
That's right.
What it's able to generate and what it could do for somebody who, like, I'm not a great writer, okay? In general, Dove, did you go to YU?
I did.
So I took Dr. Lee.
Call him out.
I did not have Dr. Lee. I don't remember.
Okay, so any little bit of writing skills I have, I don't even know if he's alive, but Dr. Lee, thank you. But I'm still not a great writer. But in order for me to do things, and I think so many people don't, in our world, in the kosher Jewish business hospitality world, are not using AI anywhere to the ability to help them with their business. And it's basically free, or you can get it for $20 a month, which I think is the best investment that is out there.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of people also, from a consumer perspective, are also, there's one brand, which I'm not going to bring up the name of it, and everything that they did or done has been wrong. Okay, from their gift cards, from how they did, but everybody loved the brand, and everybody was so forgiving to them. So it's interesting. If you have a great brand, you like, I'm going to go back to Mike's Chicken, right? He's an incredible brand. Okay, he's always reinventing himself. Another one of my favorite brands, Ori's. Okay, I don't know if you've ever been to Ori's. It's a market. It's it's not a full grocery store, but they're incredible operators. They break every single rule of retail, but they have such a niche in what they do, and they're always building upon to try to keep the momentum going, and they're already successful. So I think it's always building upon that foundation, and no matter what business that you're in.
I think it's also interesting that there's a distinction between changing your entire identity versus building upon what you have. Like you're saying, and I think a lot of the restaurants and other businesses that they, it's not, they want to change something and then they change everything about it. And they think that that's the upgrade. But the upgrade is, if you're already delivering a service that people enjoy, you want to elevate it, like you said. You want to add more to it, but you don't want to take away the core things that are part of that restaurant or business or whatever it is.
That's right.
Look, today, the probably the the highest volume businesses in kosher today are the kosher supermarkets, right? Because they've turned into be so much more than just the groceries. Your groceries, you're a butcher shop, you're a takeout, you got a fish department, you got a flation takeout department, a milk takeout department, a
Bakery,
catering,
this,
a
that.
bakery department, a smoothie
Yeah.
department, a this department, a that department. They've become major, operations today. And I think we're going to see more and more of that type of stuff where you can really just go one-stop shop, we talk about, the meat prices. I think people are probably going to be running around all over the place, looking what's going to be, who's going to have the best special, run here, run there. The one thing I do not get are these online higher end meat places. I can only imagine what their
What
prices
their
are.
pricing is going to be, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't get that today.
When you go to the airline tickets, are like, do you want to pay for this in 4 installments?
That's
Like,
right.
you want to get your prime rib and pay for it in 4 installments?
No,
Yeah,
you do not.
I mean
You're wagyu. You're wagyu.
those people really have to enjoy the experience and service that they're getting in order for them to pay the prices that they're paying.
I mean, surely some of the supermarkets you're affiliated with down in Florida are this end-to-end real kind of.
Yeah, it's funny. Yesterday, I got a 5-star review for Casey Market. I do their social media, and it was funny when I was reading through it because I have this like joke that I have with the owner that I always send them the negative reviews, and I'm like, okay, how do we what's the problem? How do we fix this? I said, I always feel bad. I always send you the negative reviews. Let me just send you some positive ones just to make you feel good. So I sent one yesterday, but the review had said nothing about the grocery store or the shopping itself. It just said it's a beautiful store. I had a delicious falafel there. I picked up my kids a bagel. Just a great place to get a bite to eat. I mean, this is not a restaurant,
but that's
but
what it is.
that they
It's an
have these
experience.
things. That's the whole review of a giant supermarket. I had a
Honestly,
great falafel, good experience.
Let's talk about the OG Dougies for 10 seconds. You know what was so much fun about the OG Dougies? You know what the first thing I remember? Coloring on the tablecloth.
Yes.
Like, who the hell
for
did that
sure.
before? That was brilliant.
It's so
Just
funny.
coloring. Who color on your tablecloth? That
And by the
right
way,
there.
So we
Name
were
it.
just at, and today they don't do it anymore because everyone just goes on the phone. I think they have
Exactly.
like little coloring things that they give out if you
Yeah.
want. But
No, everyone's just on. The kids are on their iPads. Adults are on their
iPads and phones.
It's
Yep.
terrible. It's terrible. But I think there are some restaurants that'll give you a discount if you put your phones in like that lock thing, which
Oh,
I think
really?
is brilliant. That's like the whole point of going to a restaurant is to spend time with each other.
Well,
instead of just
they
looking
did a
at your phone.
study a couple years ago about restaurants are losing so much money because of cell phones, and not in the way that you would imagine. The reason why is, stores is a lot of time restaurants. It's a lot of times it's about table turnover. So they have the average amount of time that a person spends at a table. So you come in, you sit down, you look at the menu, you talk, you order, you have to wait for your food, you get your food, you eat your food. There's a certain amount of time afterwards, and they calculate that it could be like roughly an hour per table. Now, because of people's cell phones, they don't look at the menu right away because they're on their phone. Then once their food is over, you ever see that those families when the food's over and there's just 6 of them and they're just like going like that? You're adding 30, 40 minutes per table time, and that rollover costs restaurants
That's
a lot
a couple
of money.
of covers a night, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a couple of covers a night. Wow.
That's a whole other topic in itself, because I think that it goes both ways. Lots of times you go somewhere, right? And there are no, and I think there's a nice way to have policy. So for example, let's say you are in this restaurant and it's busy like crazy and someone's just sitting there sipping their Diet Coke, sitting at a table for 4 people. But I don't
Yeah, you
blame
don't
the
want to
person.
rush
Why?
people. You don't
No,
want
no,
to
no.
rush
But why?
people.
Hold on. But they know it's Sunday or Thursday night. But does the restaurant have a clear policy stated someplace? And I think that's another whole issue, which now, again, in fairness to the businesses, the customers, the clients that we have at times are very challenging. Okay. And they do push you to your limit and they do make things sometimes very, very difficult. And it's hard to enforce policies at times. But if you have your policies, which a lot of places do not have their policies and procedures clear and understand it, both to the staff and to the customer and to the clients, right? It makes things very, very difficult. And it could go on, there was a joke back in the days of Dougie's when we were busy, we never had dessert. right? So
Right.
because we wanted the table back.
Right. Exactly.
Ah,
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's funny.
brilliant.
yeah. But
Well, we're
again,
out of the molten chocolate chip cookie thingy. Yeah.
well, back then there was no such thing as a molten chocolate chip
Whatever.
cookie.
Yeah.
Back then there weren't even bottles of water. Okay, it's like there was no such thing as a bottle of water.
It was a carafe. A carafe.
Yeah, but you didn't. There was no such thing as Poland Spring water.
Anything.
Anything. There was no. It wasn't. It wasn't a thing back by then.
Pictures. I remember the pictures.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So I think that I think a lot of places could tighten up on, as we started, on the hospitality side, and it will only be for their positive. Okay. But a lot of people just get very set in their ways and they don't want to change for and the time. Sometimes it could be as simple also where an owner is just burnt out, where they should probably close for a couple months, refresh the place, recharge, and get right back into it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do you
So
have
I
those
think,
like small towns where the restaurants are closed in the summer? You know, I like that. You like
by the
that
way,
stretch.
By the way, by you, come Yuntif time, depending on Yuntif falls out, it used to be a lot of the places would close for the whole month if they were only able to be open for
Well,
3.
when I was growing up here, that's what happened with restaurants. Most restaurants closed up for the whole summer.
Wow.
Okay, so now that I always find it like it funny, and this is a conversation every year before the 9 days. All the Flashik restaurants that try to do a parv
Right.
menu, and by day 2 they close.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Nobody wants that.
No, historically, it does not work. So,
wow. All right. This has been super interesting. Doug, just tell people what we've been talking a little bit about. Like, what are you actually doing these days? The Doug Soclof experience means what? If you want to have that family white glove end-to-end getaway anything, tell people what it is the Doug Soclof experience is right now.
Right. So I guess in the quick 60-second pitch is if you're looking to get away with your family for whatever the reason is, a Yontif, a Shabbos, Babin's 80s anniversary, milestone birthday, a Shabbos Shever Brachos, and you're renting a house, or staying home, a vacation house, or you are staying home, especially Yontif time, people feel overwhelmed. We come in and we take care of every single detail. Whatever your vision is, whatever your budget is, whatever your vision is. I think, people always say to me, "Oh, what's the craziest thing, you've ever done?" And thank God there's a lot of them, but I always tell people, I think what our niche is really getting things done for people who never thought they could really get away. So, for example, if you have older parents, going back to the Bubby, the Zadie, or if you have somebody who has severe allergies, and I'm not even talking about food, somebody that's allergic to environmental, dust, pets, a family that wants to get away, and we got to increase Wi-Fi, bring in commercial printers. There's so many things. Rebuild bathrooms for older people or people with accessibility issues or mobility issues.
Basically, if you're someone who thinks you could never get away because of X, Doug is the guy to make it happen.
And also on the flip side, there's plenty of people who have, Baruch Hashem, their family's gone from the core 6. Today they're 20, 25, 30 people. And the super person, the Superman of the family, I call who used to be the family captain that used to take everything, by charge and get it done. It's just too many people. It's too overwhelming and it's too much coordination. There's too many logistics. That's where we come in.
That's
we take
where you
care
come
of every
in.
single detail. Exactly.
You can pull up, open the doors to your car, and that's all you got to do.
And if you want to sit and eat on cheap plastic plates and paper goods, you could do that. You want to sit and eat on the most beautiful china, we could do that. You want entertainment, transportation, you want goat yoga, you want cooking demonstrations, you want digital dove out there. Or surely come do a chopped competition. We make it happen. Thank God.
Like this. I like where this is going. Together.
Look, we're all blessed with a great network, and it certainly helps. And there's a lot of great opportunities. People are really looking to do things differently. It's hard for a family of 30, 40, 50 people. In general, I always like to tell everybody, you coordinate the family. I can't coordinate the family to make the time to get away for 3-4 days or for a Shabbos or for a Yontif. You take care of that. You get them to the place. I'll worry about everything else.
There we go.
And make sure that you're surrounded by your loved ones and that you're going to sit with your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and love every second of it.
That's
Well,
awesome.
thanks so much, Doug,
Wow.
for coming on.
Thank you so much for coming on. Digital Dove Shirley Cooks, Doug's the original Popper Soclof, the man, the legend.
Episode number 10.
Episode number 10 in the can. We will see you soon.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
a lot, everybody. Bye.